Black Facts. Since the year 2000, all 50 states of America have stood in allegiance that on the third day of every year, their citizens take time away from their busy schedules to acknowledge and observe the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Born on January 15, 1929, Martin Luther King Jr. was actually born Michael King Jr. However, he was inspired by the civil disobedience Protestant Reformation leader Martin Luther and hence changed his name. King was a gifted student, so much in fact that he skipped grades 9 and 12 before enrolling at Morehouse College in 1944 at the age of 15. Black Facts. A social savant and activist by nature, Dr. King's public speaking talents also date back to his teenage years when he won an oratory contest in Georgia for speaking on a topic titled The Negro and the Constitution, which according to the Martin Luther King Jr. Research and Education Institute at Stanford, in the orientation, he highlighted the contradictory nature of the U.S. Constitution in the context of discrimination. Dr. King didn't always plan on following in his father's footsteps and becoming a minister. But according to Martin Luther King Jr. Research and Education Institute at Stanford, after he took a Bible course with Dr. George D. Kelsey, he was inspired to use his ministry as a medium for social justice and racial reform. On top of receiving 2 bachelor's degrees, one in sociology from Morehouse College and the other in divinity from the Crozier Theological Seminary, King went on to earn a PhD from Boston University in 1955, making him a doctor of philosophy. In fact, Dr. King loved Boston and called it his second home. While studying at Boston University, Dr. King lamented to friends that he had yet to meet any woman he seriously liked. He then reached out to his friend Mary Powell, who suggested he meet Coretta Scott. The couple had their very first interaction over a brief phone call, during which they agreed to meet in person. At the time, Scott was studying opera at the New England Conservatory for Music and hoped to be a concert singer. Dr. King wrote in his autobiography, she was a mezzo-soprano, and I'm sure she would have gone on into this arena if a Baptist preacher hadn't interrupted her life. Black Facts. According to the New Yorker, the King family moved from Atlanta to Montgomery, Alabama, when the famous 1956 bus boycott, a citywide protest against racialized segregation on public transit, began. At the time, King was only 26 and pretty much unknown in the activist spaces, though he had previously expressed interest in social justice. He originally opposed the boycott because he was worried that it was unethical to put people's jobs at risk. But when he realized the ultimate goal behind the protest, he volunteered to use his church's basement as a meeting spot to boycott organizers. During that first meeting, the group elected Dr. King as their president because no one else stood up to take the role. He then wrote his very first public political speech in less than an hour, and the rest is American history. That's a black fact. Black Facts. Dr. King became one of the most prominent leaders in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. Black Facts. The civil rights movement achieved pivotal legislative gains in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. I am Dr. Divine Pryor, CCD's Senior Policy Advisor, wishing you a happy MLK Day.